Okay, so hello and welcome to this week's Success Workshop from the Learning Commons. Our topic this week is catching up when you fall behind on your work. Now that we're coming up on the end of the semester and on final exam week, I thought that this topic would be appropriate for those that need just a little extra help in organizing their time after falling behind. Let's start with an introduction. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sam. I am an academic success coach in the Learning Commons at Tallahassee Community College. My job is to help students in pretty much any way that I can in order for them to be successful in class. While I can help and support you in just about any academic area, I do specialize in study and test-taking strategies, time management and organization, note-taking, and academic motivation or goals. I'm also a student at Florida State University. I'm currently finishing up my last semester at Florida State as a master's student in a little program called Instructional Systems and Learning Technologies. And the focus of my degree is all about how people, in particular, how students learn and perform at their best. I've included my email address on this slide just in case you do not have it and would like to reach out to me after this workshop presentation. Let's go ahead and start off this workshop presentation with a poll. Now there are going to be two questions. The first is, are you currently behind on work in any of your classes? And the second question allows you to select multiple answers, but the question is what you typically do when you get behind on your work. I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll now and give everyone a moment to answer. All right, so it looks like everyone has voted at this point, and it's wonderful. You know, no one is currently behind on any work in your classes, which is perfectly fine, and I'll talk a little bit about how the strategies and steps that we talk about in just a little bit can be used for just organizing your assignments in general. And then it looks like many of you use many different strategies when you do get behind on your work. Some of you go with the flow, some of you make a plan for catching up, and then others may reach out to their professor. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and share those polling results with everyone, and we're going to move on to the next slide. So it's interesting to see how different students treat the same sort of concern, and that is falling behind on their classwork. And what we're going to talk about here today are the 3 steps for catching up after you've fallen behind on your work. And these steps, like I said, could also be used to better organize your work even if you are not currently behind. These 3 steps really encompass what is needed to catch up on your work. And the first step is inventory, the second step being game plan, and the third step being go time. Let's talk about each of these steps a little bit more in depth now. The first step is inventory. Let's define inventory though. If you think of inventory at work, it is an action. It means to compile a complete list of something. And in this case, we're compiling a complete list of all of your missing and remaining assignments for your class. There are really 3 reasons why inventory is step number 1, and these reasons also highlight why inventory is such an important step. The first is all about organization. And I don't know about you, but I know that I don't want to have to log into and click on several areas in order to find out the work that I need to complete. I like to have all of my information in one place right there in front of me. So by taking inventory of all of your missing and remaining work, you're going to have all of that information in one place without having to refer back to Canvas, refer back to your email, or refer back to the gradebook. The second reason that I believe inventory is such an important step is that you're taking back control of your work. You, as a student, control your own education and your own success in the classroom, but of course there are going to be cases where outside events occur and it puts us behind, and that's okay. What matters is what you do from that point forward. How do you take back control of your work afterwards? When you fall behind, it's easy to feel out of control, and by creating an inventory, you can take back a little bit of that control. The third important reason why you should create an inventory as you are moving forward with your work is that it brings you back to reality. Believe me, it's as simple as not paying attention to your schedule or your work for 1 week, and that can put you 4 to 5 assignments behind. And it's easy to not exactly realize how far you've gotten behind until it's too late. You might think to yourself, I don't really have that much work to do, when in reality, assignments are starting to pile up fast. By compiling a complete list, we're able to move on to the next step, which is to make a plan, but make a plan that is rooted in reality. We've talked about why it's so important to create your inventory, missing or remaining work. So let's talk about how. How do you go about creating that inventory? So first, you want to choose your method. How do you plan to inventory your work? Well, there are many ways that you can go about this. You can create one on paper or a handwritten list. You could use an online or electronic template. In fact, the Learning Commons has created an assignment tracker template that's perfect for creating your own inventory. And I am going to share the link to this document at the end of today's workshop session, and I'm going to use it in an example coming up. But once you've chosen your method, it's time to find all of your missed work. And the best place that I've found for you to look for this is in the Canvas gradebook. All of your missing or late assignments are very clearly labeled there. Write down the name of the assignments and the original due date. And of course, these assignments are going to be given a top priority. However, in addition to making up work that you've missed, you also need to keep up with your current assignments and make sure that you're not adding on to your pile of missed work. Write down these assignments too, so you can keep track of everything that you need to do. Let's go ahead and walk through an example scenario. So today I am going to be using the Learning Commons assignment tracker template to inventory my missing assignments. In this example, I am 1 week behind in my general psychology class, and after speaking with my professor, I can now make up that work. I need to write out all of my assignments that I've missed, but also keep up with my other work. As you can see in this video example, we are going ahead and listing out all of our assignments under the assignments column. And we're also listing out the original due date under the original due date column. We have a separate area for tests and exams where we're going to do the same thing, listing out the tests and exams that we've either missed or are coming up and what that original due date was. And that's really all that you need to do in order to complete the inventory step. This all leads up to step number 2, which is game plan. A game plan is a strategy for achieving a goal. In this case, your goal is catching up on missed work and making sure that you do not fall further behind. Your personal game plan is going to answer the question of, how are you going to go about making up this work or completing your work? It is important to mention that you should be in contact with your professor during this step to ensure that they approve of the timeline that you've set for yourself and your game plan. It makes sense that after completing your inventory, that is the list of all of your missing and remaining work, that you would just be ready to jump in to your work. And I'm going to caution against this at this point. You want to make sure that you are not missing out on this crucial step. Making a game plan not only gives you a concrete direction for finishing your work, but it also ensures that both your missing and upcoming assignments are finished in a timely manner. The most essential part of your game plan is, one, considering your original due date, and this is something you've listed on your inventory, but also your new due date. That's right, you shouldn't just jump into completing your missed work without giving yourself a personal updated due date, because goals are meaningless without a firm deadline. During the inventory step, of course, you've compiled the list of assignments and original due dates, but now you need to consult that inventory as well as your professor and your own schedule before assigning a brand new due date to all of your missing assignments. But remember, you also have all of your upcoming assignments on your inventory as well, and upcoming assignments should be completed by their original due date. You do not want to add onto your pile of missed work at this point. Let's go ahead and take a look back at our example scenario. So I have officially created my inventory for my general psychology class. In this inventory, I've compiled a list of all of my missing and upcoming assignments. I'm feeling more organized and in control of my work. Now I have to fill out the I will complete by column. And this is where you're going to assign a brand new due date to all missed work. Remember, you need to consult your professor before finalizing these due dates to make sure it aligns with their expectations. You want to be honest and realistic with yourself. Make sure that you're consulting your own calendar as well and thinking about your workload for your upcoming assignments. Speaking of those upcoming assignments, you want to make sure that you complete all of that work by the original due date. And you can see that I have highlighted those in yellow here in the video. You do not want to fall further behind in your attempts to catch up. After I've selected a new due date for these assignments, I can say that my game plan is complete. The third step of catching up when you fall behind is go time. And go time is likely self-explanatory, but let's define it anyway. Go time is when the time has arrived to undertake some sort of task, often one that is difficult or requires a bit of effort, at which point there is no going back. You have created your inventory, you've developed your game plan, now it's time to take action that makes a real impact on your grades and your overall academic success. If it's not obvious enough, go time is going to be the most important step. To put it simply, what is the use of making a plan and taking inventory of your work if you are not going to follow through? You can have the greatest plan in the world, you can have the most organized inventory, the plan can fit neatly in your schedule and be approved by your professor, but if you do not actually do the work or put effort into completing the work, then it really has just been a waste of your time and your professor's time. You need to ask yourself before undertaking the goal of catching up, am I willing to make an effort? If the answer is yes, then you're set and you're ready to go. When it's go time, there are 3 factors that you do want to consider. First, you want to keep your inventory and your game plan in sight. You do not want to fall into the trap of out of sight, out of mind. Make sure you've either printed out your inventory or you're keeping it up on your computer at all times. Second, do not hesitate to go ahead and set reminders for yourself. Set an alarm on your phone to remind you to start completing an assignment early on in the day. And you need to be realistic as well. Students are really great at both underestimating and overestimating the amount of time something is going to take them. But you need to be realistic and really think through how long these missing assignments are going to take you. If you know that an assignment is going to take you 3 hours to complete, then you should not be waiting until 9 p.m. the day of your new due date to start it. Last, you need to avoid your common distractions. So this means put the phone away, turn off the television. Now is the time to really focus in. Remember that you really have to ask yourself whether you're willing to make an effort. And if the answer is yes, then you will have to realize that sacrifices to your free time will need to be made. If you're not willing to do that, then maybe you're not willing to put in the effort to catch up on the work anyway. It's possible that along the way you are going to experience roadblocks or bumps in the road that do hinder your progress, or you get off track a little bit. Sometimes you hit a bump in the road with the actual content of your class. If you need help in understanding class concepts or class material or homework, then the Learning Commons really has you covered there. You can meet with a specialist or a tutor to go through these assignments, go through the concepts and the content of your class. And you can very easily check into the Learning Commons using EagleQ. And we offer tutoring both in person at the Learning Commons, but also online as well. So you never have to step foot on campus to receive the awesome tutoring services that we have at the Learning Commons. Sometimes though, it's not a tutoring issue. Sometimes our biggest roadblock can be ourselves, our own mindset and our own attitude towards something. And speaking with an academic coach can help you, one, compose your thoughts about the work that you're completing and the plan that you've made. They can also help you readjust your attitude and also allow you an opportunity to talk through any concerns that you're having. And we're even available to study with you. Whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable and confident in your work, we are here to support you in that. So the real question is, where do I go from here? Or where do you go from here? First, you need to make that commitment to put the effort in to complete your work. Once you've done that, you need to start your inventory as soon as possible. And if you are behind, tonight even, starting that inventory. At the very same time, reach out to your professors through email, reach out to them through Canvas messaging, and attend their next office hours to discuss a timeline for completing that missed work so that you can get that game plan out of the way. And finally, you just kind of have to get to work. If you need help, understand that there is support available to you. I am available to assist you in filling out your inventory or creating your game plan. All you have to do is you can scan the QR code here on the slide, or you can email me. My email address, once again, is dzurga@tcc.fl.edu. Now, I promised earlier on in the presentation that I would send everyone the assignment tracker that I used during the video examples here in this presentation. I have sent the link to that. It's on my OneDrive, so you will have to download it, but you can use it on your own, make your own inventory and game plan, and then get started. If there are any questions, I can take those in the chat, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you, but otherwise, you are free to go.